So first question I have for you, can you describe sort of your character to us in a few words?
Okay, Anais, neurodivergent, dangerous, hyper-intelligent, and maybe a little softness, but not a lot.
And how does it feel to be adding yourself into this ensemble cast from the first film? Is there anything that went into like with these established characters and adding yourself in?
Well, I think for me coming into it, I saw it in 2016 with my dad. Like we went and saw it in theaters because it's just like it was our kind of movie. And funny enough, my dad really loved it because it's about a guy who's like hoarding all of his money, and my dad was like, that's awesome, like his house is very economical, like that's really cool. And I was like, oh my god, my dad's just cheap, and that's why he loved the movie. But I already came in as a fan, so I was a little nervous because Gavin O'Connor, who's right to my side here, he's got really high expectations. If you've seen his previous films, like it's always really high caliber actors. Their performances are always great. The fight sequences are taken very seriously. So at first I was pretty nervous, but I worked with him a lot, and he's the first director that I've worked with ever to his scale that trusted me fully. So I was scared, and then I wasn't.
Sort of working off of that, do you have any sort of like anecdote about what it's like to be on those action scenes? What is the process like?
It is, kind of the same old. It's like a lot of training. Honestly, it's. I think if you're a dancer or anyone with a dance background would probably relate the most because it's a choreographed dance, right? And you have to learn it over and over again. But then on the day, it's got to look fresh. It can't just look like you know what you're going to do, or it has to look sporadic. So. It was it was brutal, but it was fun. Cynthia and I we really go for it in the movie. But also, it's awesome. It reminds me a lot of Uma Thurman and Daryl Hannah and Kill Bill 2 when they're in the trailer. It's like got a little bit of that.
And then last question, we're a student org at UT Austin. There's tons of students that are trying to get in this position like you. Do you have any little big nugget of advice on what they could do, maybe to hone their craft or to get into a good position? Any advice?
Well, I'll say this. Any student who is ambitious about getting into this business right now, if it was brutal 10 years ago, it's brutal now. And this might not... And so a few things I'd have to say. One, have something else. Have a side hustle. Like, be an accountant on the side. I actually know an actor who is an accountant who supports himself while, because this work is few and far between and this industry is changing a lot. So I'd say have that side hustle. And two, it's going to be a lot easier if you are a storyteller and you're ambitious about making your own story. But nowadays, you got to be a jack of all trade. So you better know how to edit. You better know how to shoot. If you can act, great. If you can write, even better. So I feel like if you want it, boy, you got to go for it because it's brutal out there. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Don't want to hold you up in the cold.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this and want to see more like it, please visit our page. And if you like this video specifically, please leave a like, comment, and make sure to subscribe.